Hi there, Serial Trader here. I still don't see much as far as the indexes are concerned with regards to a trade setup. I'd still want to see some sort of corrective pullback, a nice corrective pattern for another opportunity to go long. And it just hasn't been very fruitful trying to call a top and short either. So I'm still not really doing much with the indexes, hence the lack of videos about them. But I am always looking for individual setups as well, and something really caught my attention here, and that's BA, so Boeing. And I think we made a very, very significant low at this March bottom there at $89 a share. And I think we're working kind of an impulsive pattern in development here. So we have the initial move up, corrective move down to a higher low, then a subsequent move up, another corrective move down to a higher low. So this is a nice double failure swing low pattern, so that's nice. Twice now the market has tried to push down, unable to make a new low. So we have a little higher high, higher low pattern, little uptrend forming. Nice base being built. And importantly, the move up each time looks impulsive, the move down looks corrective. Again, impulsive, corrective. And just looking at the little bit of sub-labeling here, so we have a larger 1-2 and then the next degree 1-2. So you'd be looking at a wave 3 of 3 to develop out of here. So potentially a very explosive move up. And I just wanted to highlight some subdivisions here. So after this second wave 1 up, you got the A, and then you got the A, B, C, D, E, triangle B, a little thrust down in C, and then again higher low, and now we're moving off the bottom. And I just want to show you on a daily candlestick perspective, if we zoom in here, you can see a nice reversal after thrusting down out of this triangle. So we got a nice reversal right on the first trading day of August, so that's a nice timing nuance if something makes a significant top or bottom on kind of the first trading day of the month or near the end of the trading month, around that time frame, kind of the sweet spot. Well, here we go. So first trading day of August, bullish engulfing candlestick. We've then confirmed with some upward strength, and now we're consolidating a bit here, but looking good. So we have that daily buy signal with a very complete looking Elliott wave correction. And even if we just go in on like the hourly chart, you can see off that bottom, looks like we have something impulsive to the upside, and now we're looking very corrective off that recent high. So probably you got a smaller degree, wave 1, and now we got a little wave 2 developing right now. Looking for higher prices, obviously. Yeah, smaller degree. So that's kind of what I'm seeing there on the real short-term chart. So everything's kind of looking good there. Longer term, shorter term, Elliott wave pattern, candlesticks. It's all kind of coming together. Now, as far as a target, I've just done a common wave 3 objective. So 1618 of this one up off that wave 2 bottom, as it's currently being proposed there. So 1618 relationship for wave 3 to wave 1 would get us to around 348. It's a nice kind of confluence with this prior resistance area before this really broke down with the pandemic. So I imagine we'll go higher than this eventually, probably much higher, but that's a good initial target. Prior resistance level right around that 350 mark. Again, also lines up well with that 1618 relationship for wave 1 and 3 there. So some ways to play this. You can certainly, I've done a couple things. So you can go long the stock, and let's just say you go long at the current price. Stop just below the recent low there. So stop just below 153.41. I just put your stop at 153 for a nice round number. Target price, at least initially, would be our 1618 up here. So that gives you a risk-reward ratio just about 12 to 1. So a fantastic risk-reward ratio. And there's actually some very technical reasons, looking at the chart and the signals to get in here. And so that's just going long stock, the risk profile for that, looking pretty good. And I won't get too far into the option chain, but just a suggestion. The January of 2021, the 200 strike calls look pretty attractive. Certainly, if this performs as proposed here, those calls would do extremely well. Gives you lots of time too. So just to give you an example of where January 2021 brings us, let's see here. That would be well over here on the chart. So that's the end of December, so that's not even quite into January. So you can see the amount of time consumed in this initial 1212. You're just about doubling that time. And let me see here. Let's get the time tool here. So let's just take the entire length of time that this 1212 has currently taken. So if you just doubled that, that only gets us to the 16th of December. So going into January gives plenty of time for a nice impulsive wave 3 to unfold here. And again, if you go along the stock, I mean, around 170 currently, stop below 153. That's a pretty tight stop. And if you're right, you got that 12 to 1 roughly risk reward ratio. And obviously, if you're just buying the calls, you control the risk with the position size of the calls. So don't use a larger debit on the calls than what you're comfortable risking on a single trade. That's the way to do that. And I'll also mention on the weekly chart. Now I think eventually, I mean, Boeing's very much in a longer term uptrend. We've obviously had a major correction here with the COVID pandemic and the lack of flights and all that, but that's not going to last forever. And I think that's what you're starting to see in this chart is the foundations of the next bullish run here on Boeing. But eventually, I think you easily take out your all-time high at 446. So sitting from 170, that's a pretty attractive target longer term. And what I really wanted to point out was the weekly candlestick we just did. So not a bullish engulfing weekly, would have had to close a little higher for that to be the case, but a nice piercing, so a bullish piercing weekly candle. And to qualify as a piercing, you got to open below the prior week's close and then close up at least at the halfway point of the body or higher. Well, we've closed well above the halfway point of last week's body. So that's a nice weekly bullish reversal candle. You got that along with the daily signal, first day of the month. And then, of course, the mature looking Elliott wave sequence that certainly implies a lot of potential upside here. So I like this setup. I don't really like chasing high-flying tech names at all-time highs and just hoping, the music doesn't stop after I buy. I like to get something early before it really gets going so that once it gets going, much more comfortable to ride it and potentially capture a very large move. So this suits my style. I like it. Feels like you're buying something cheap, not chasing something that's expensive. And yeah, looking good here. So I think more importantly, you can clearly define the risk. So over here, I mean, obviously, I had my eyes on Boeing the whole time it was dumping down there because one way or another, Boeing will find a way to survive and come back. But you don't want to call the bottom when there's just no reason to yet. And you can see, I mean, a lot of people, including me, I didn't think it was going to go down to under $90, but it did. But now you actually have some very valid technical developments and key levels to define a trade against. So you're no longer trying to pick the bottom. I think the bottom's basically picked itself. And now we have some clear patterns, some clear signals to act on. So just thought I'd bring that to your attention. Haven't done any videos recently, but this one I felt was worth sharing. And it looks ripe here. It looks actionable, basically at the current time, at current levels. I think it's ready for an attempt. So when I do see something on the broader market, I'll do an update. But for now, it's just going higher still, grinding higher. I need to see a nice corrective move, nice corrective pattern before I get interested in trying to go long on the overall market. But this thing looks good. So hopefully someone can do something with this. And obviously, I would always recommend doing your own analysis. And I'm merely just here to share what I'm doing, and perhaps that can help you. If you can basically concur with my analysis, do your own, and come to the same kind of conclusion, then maybe you got to trade. And I think that's what, well, obviously I think this is a nice setup on Boeing, so I'll leave that with you. All right, serial trader signing off.